Hello. Check, check, check. I hope this is recording because this is going to be a very long and meaningful recording. Now, I know when somebody says that something's meaningful and tells other people they need to know it, a lot of people say, "How dare you tell me what I need to know," and stuff like that. But without much further ado, I'm just going to dive right into it. Lots of things to say. First, when you idolize somebody, you simultaneously pity them. And what I mean by that is right now I just was watching my in their 70s parents, my mom, who I'm honking at real quick as I leave to pick up my son Xavier. Noticeably I say those things with like a little heavy accent to them because they're more than that, but that's how I'm going to explain them for now. So, you idolize them because you look at them. My dad's holding his hand on his hip, wiping the sweat off his head, and they're mowing the lawn and putting the mulch on their garden, which is something that is very productive because they're using this grass to insulate that garden to grow food, which is productive and good for the environment and doing things, keeping things going. That's an awesome thing. So, I idolize them because they look at it as, I see my dad watching his love, and they're working together. And they're doing the necessities, the things that do need to be done and can be helped by us with the environment. I'm not saying that my parents make all the greatest decisions, but that's one thing. And you pity them at the same time. Like, I idolize what they do. That's one hand. And at the other side, you pity them because, okay, they don't really want anything of the world, and that's great. But there's a part of people that you have to say other people do. And that's great, too. It's okay. And my mom is pretty passive. She just lets it go on. And my dad is opposed to a lot of things. That's where their personality clashes come into play. You know, they both work hard. That's not an uncommon thing between them. That's very like. And they both try very hard. That's very common. But when it comes down to their spiritual and their soul progression, one is passive and not aggressive very much at all until she has to be. Feminine, loving, nurturing, naturing, and all that kind of stuff, literally. And the other is aggressive, dominant, and can be violent and voices his opinion and wants to have his say be heard, which is the other side. If you don't understand here, I'm going to jump into a thing that will explain that this is actually your brain. This is actually everything that's ever been going on. I'll try to explain it just from talking. So you idolize them because they work hard, they try hard, and people have noticed other people in their lives as their examples, not just me with my parents, because you have your own examples. But this is a good example. And you also pity them because they have low expectations of the world because of the way they've seen it being portrayed, which there isn't this part of us where we have to give up and say there's nothing we can do about it. That's the passive. And my dad is the aggressive, but now he feels like he's too old to do something about it. He's also been put through the war. He's also been put through those kind of things that keep him not dumbed down in a personal sense, but put off to the side and neglected and told, hey, your say is nothing. We've used you, and you're retired, and you're left off to the side. Like, most people have the idea that their say means something. Your vote counts. You know, if you're a police officer or an upholder of the law, you're helping, but you're not. If you just go along with what's being said, you go along and you vote, you go along with the idea that we have lawmakers, then you're only playing into the idea that somebody else has to be in control of you. Think about what a governor is. Like in my state, we have Governor Wolf. Like, think about Wolf. Wolf in sheep's clothing? Oh no, he's not a wolf. He's a wolf in wolf's naming. Okay, and I have nothing against him personally. I have nothing against any of them personally. But I have something against them morally. Because if you personally can govern yourself, and you personally have self-morals, you don't need more rules. Because on the opposite hand, when you are conscious, you have more rules for yourself. Because it takes a lot to not just want to slap people that aren't doing the right thing, but you know that that's not going to help either. And with a conscious being, you know that inside your head you have the potential to say that those people are doing wrong and I want to help them. And after a long enough time, if I could be in charge, then I would help them. That's where it starts. You want to nurture. Sometimes people that get in don't have even that much of an entry level want. They just go in wanting to have power. But some people do want to help. And they go in and they see, in order for us to have power, we have to exert that power, show our dominance in certain ways. And that has to be done. For animals to tame them, for gardens to keep them weeded and growing properly, for everything. But it needs guidance. It doesn't need the iron hand. The iron hand has always been the wrong thing. The idea of joining a militia to fight back is also fighting, and people have to know that. I've died enough times and fought enough times to say that this time I will be in the center of the fight speaking. And if somebody feels the need to kill me for speaking the truth because I love them enough to be honest, even if they kill me thinking that I'm wrong, I say that you need to self-govern your own actions. And if you were to come kill me without me threatening you in your life, only being honest and telling you the truth, if you were to come kill me or hold me down or keep me in captivity, then you are doing the wrong thing. And you can't morally admit that because you've been following an order. An order is outer. If you have an inner, you don't need an order. You don't need an outer. You are with the outer when your inner is pure enough because the outer is pure too. The outer wants purity. And the reason most people are stressed out and messed up is because they know what they're doing wrong. They know it makes no sense, even if it's working their job at a merchandising place or whatever. If you go down the street and look, you don't need Dunkin' Donuts. You don't need a medicinal place that's going to just prescribe you some drugs and not teach you how to heal. We need healing places. People know how to heal. People can heal themselves. I can teach people how to heal. Literally. But people are afraid to do anything for themselves. They want it to be easier. We've been led into a place where convenience is king. And people that will follow through on making sure it's convenient for you can harm other people behind your back as long as it's not you. But those people behind your back are also you in some sense. Because it could be you that happens to be there when they try to cause their interference or place their hold on whatever society they need to place their hold on. I mean, I've said that right, but I'm trying. Here's the point. We have so many options. In fact, every moment we have the options to do the right thing. Many of us can't because they're afraid. Many of us won't because they're afraid. And many of us don't because they don't know how to. They don't know what the right thing is because they were brought up by nobody, or they were brought up by the wrong person, or they were brought up by a system that taught them to follow along and be complacent. Listen to what you're told. Don't voice your opinion. Those are common ideas in our society, which is wrong. You have to self-govern. You have to learn how to be in control of one's self. Nobody else. Anybody who thinks that they're going to hold power over somebody else will wrongly perform some action in order to keep their power once it's acquired. It's always that way. When you conquer, the word Q is there. If you have Q within yourself, you cause your own actions. You cue your own actions. But if someone conquers you, they are they are together, conveniently. They are constructively or conversely or conventionally conning your own cue. They are the conqueror because they're the one who conquered your cue. They're the one who took your way of saying it for yourself away. That's not okay. That's not okay. We've been conquered for a long time, before our ancestors were even born. The 7th century clause, the 8th century needs to understand this time we're moving into an infinite era. Because some of us have awakened. There's a difference between awakening, understanding that the government is wrong in this physical world. That's one thing. Being spiritual is knowing that you've done it all yourself. Not your internal peace that's within this external piece, your whole self, that has no place here in space and time. And you really are that. If you aren't that, how could you be aware of? Simply put, and if you understand it, then you'll see that you are the one. And so is everything else. Because if all is one and you are the one, then so is everything else. Duh. I love you. I don't mean that in a negative way at all. You just have to wake up. Don't treat anybody wrongly or anything wrongly. Treat things naturally, as nature would. Animals can't help themselves, but you can. Some animals can. Over periods of time, they will rightly change their actions when they're not living in scarcity or running from humans or being hunted wrongly, which is not right. It's not right to kill anything, including anything we hunt, anything we eat. We're not killing a plant when you chop off its bud and you regrow more of it. And I'm not saying that that's not okay with something that doesn't grow from the soil. Because if it doesn't grow from the soil, it grows from the soul. And if it's from the soul, it's a being that does not deserve to be killed by your will alone. If it asks to, it has the right to. And if someone says, you don't have the right to kill yourself, they're wrong. Somebody does have the right to kill themselves. But you've got to be totally lost in order to do that. Because you can be brought to the light, and when you see what the light really is, you won't want to die. I know that. There's periods where my personal life comes in the way and I want to die. Because I've been to the place where it's so beautiful and magical that I know I'm there right now in a physical body, but from my one piece, there is no peace. Because I see all the disease and mistrust and misleading going on around me. And that's not okay. On a spiritual level, it has to be. Because I can't just go out and start throwing fits and causing all kinds of scenes, because that'll get me put down. That's what a lot of people want to do. They want to rally up a team and go strike back at the government and shoot them down. Well, those government people came from and the place they came from is gone, because their parents and grandparents and ancestors and ones that led them there are gone. So we can't blame it completely on them, but once they become conscious and know that they're doing the wrong thing, and realize that no one deserves to be part of a people farm, no matter how long it's been going on, no matter how long you think these stories of Anunnaki and all that kind of stuff is, I can tell you the truth about all that too. But you've got to be ready to hold on for the fucking truth, because it's deep and hard, man. It's scary. And we have a lot of words to a lot of stuff. The truth is the truth, whether you like it or not. You can't like the truth all the time, because it's not going to be the way you want it to. Lots of horrible things have been done, and more seemingly horrible than good. But a lot of it was your family, and you would say your family's excused from it because they're your family. And a lot of it wasn't your family, and you say they're not excused from it because they're not your immediate family. Guess what? We're one big world. We have to understand that. I'm going to leave it at that, because there's a lot of good things to really point out there. And I don't want to make these talks too long, because it matters that you get it. I don't want to get you bored and have you just turn it off and move on to something that'll fascinate your entertainment side, you know. That's not the important thing. The important thing is to do what's right for you and others. Don't just follow along with what you're told if it's not right. And if you don't have to be somewhere where someone's telling you what to do if you're doing the right thing in the first place. So you'll see what I mean. We need no government. And until we understand that, we'll never be free. So this is about freedom. It's not about doing what you want. It's about freedom. You can do what you want within the rules of freedom, within nature's law of freedom. You can do that. Please do that. But other than that, don't blame anyone else for their wrongdoings if you don't at least speak up and try to help them. If they get angry, they might. They may be delusional enough to feel that that's their right to, because at that point it is. But until they start understanding and say, well, I don't care, that's where it does play where it matters. Because a lot of people that don't care about others are in charge of others and life in general. We can't allow that when we really understand that, whether it seems to be playing off on you or not, because it is, on a whole, on the grand scheme of things, in the big picture. When you become the one, you don't hate any. Just know that hate is apparent, hate is there. And you try to eradicate the hate that people have for themselves and others. Because it's within themselves yourself. Sometimes they would do that if they could get away with it. And when you finally get to the point where you wouldn't do that if it's wrong, whether you get away with it or not, you know you're pure. And that's where I'm coming from. And people don't like me because I'm being honest. They want to kill me and shut me up. And that's just okay. Because I'll always be doing the right thing. I will be the right example for my parents, for my peers, for my children, for their children, for everyone ever to live or have lived. With that I say I love you. Peace. Until next time.